Video we're going to learn about how to make little tab holes on a rounded surface. Okay, so first of all we're going to, if we're making a chest or something like that, we're going to need our boards that go across, or our little bits of wood. Second of all, we're going to have to figure out a tab size. So I'm going to set my tab size at 5mm. And my material that I'm going to cut from is going to be 6, so I adjust those up here. Right, now for this I've got my align and distribute menu up, so I'll just change the colour of my tabs to make it easier. Okay, and all I do is hold shift and click both shapes, and I've got it on last selected, and then I just put it past here in the centre. Okay, and all I do is duplicate this, hold shift and click onto my main thing, and then put one at the other end. Okay, so now I've got sort of a tabbed board, and I want like a rounded surface for it to fit in. So I'll just union these. So now it's one shape, and I'll just pop it over there for the moment. Okay, now my rounded surface, if I hold control on the keyboard and drag my circle, it's going to make a perfect circle. So I'm just going to sort of drag it to about how big I want my chest to be. If I look up here, it'll have my height and width to be exactly the same. Alright, now the top of the chest obviously is a half circle. So what I do is I have an imaginary box around here. Okay, and I have arrows in the center, and it's a square all the way around, which is touching each side. Okay, so I just grab a box, and I draw my box around about the center, and I drop it down to the very edge of this dotted line. Okay, so that should give me roughly about half of the box, half of the circle, sorry. Okay, so if I just change colour, I've got opacity on, just so it makes it easier for you guys to see. Alright, so what I do is select my box, and I select my circle, and I want to align it at the bottom. Okay, and then all I want to do is go difference. Okay, so now I've got half a circle. Right, and this will be the sort of the rough outline of the top of my chest. Okay, so now I have these parts, and I want my tabs to go all the way around it, so I can put my boards crossways. So I'm just going to duplicate this one. Just pop it there, and this one will be here. Okay, so first of all I want them in front. So I'll just click that one there. Now, I want them roughly lined up exactly where the center is. Now with this one I want it just, I'm going to rotate it just a little bit, so sort of hopefully my board will kind of sit flat. Okay, so what I'm looking for is this side here and this side here to roughly sit flat on the circle, and you can sort of see it there. Okay, so I'm reasonably happy with that. Okay, and I'll just pop this one over here for the moment. Alright, now, next, what I want to do is find the center of the circle. So I'll just draw like a really thin kind of line. I'll change it to black, and I'll line it in the center here. And I probably want it at the bottom as well, so it's dead center here. Now, remember the last video where we talked about getting a rotational center with this cross? So all I do is drag my cross down here. Okay, and I'll pop it right in the center of that line, because that should give me the center of the shape. So if I make a duplicate and I rotate it around the circle, it'll be touching wherever it goes. Okay, there we go. Alright, so what I need to do is evenly spread these out so that they're going all the way around my box, or semicircle, sorry. Okay, and then I duplicate this again, and I push it up, and then I duplicate it again, and all of the time I am pressing on this little arrow, which means rotate. And duplicate again, pull it around. I'm trying to leave the same gap in between each one as best I can. Hopefully it will measure up at the end, okay, but we'll see. About there. And we'll come around again. And because our rotation's on the center, these will just go nicely around the edge. It's really not that much work at all. It's pretty easy. Okay, we set this up now. This is what I was talking about before. Hopefully we'll have enough space for the last one. Okay, well that's about right. Now, see this gap here is a little bit bigger than these, and this will happen to some of you. So in order to fix that up, you sort of got to space them all out again. So I'll just quickly kind of show you. So all I do is even up the gap all the way around. Go back up to this one. Okay, kind of space them out a bit better. Cool. We have to go all the way around. Slowly even that gap out. Here we go, in the last little one. Okay, so if we zoom out, kind of looks like a bad hair day, sorry. But you can see sort of where my bits overlap. You can see where the tabs are going to be differenced, if you've guessed by now. I'm sort of looking at this and looking at that and seeing that probably this needs to come around just a little bit, just to even it all up, because I really don't want to go past halfway with this. So I'll double check that on my other side. The more even they are spaced, the better it's going to look. Okay, so I'll just pull that down to where I had the other one. About there. Okay, now you're probably wondering why I've got this one. This is the one that I'm going to duplicate, okay, because these are going to be differenced. So if I click on this one, and then I click on my main thing, and I get path difference. Okay, it's going to make my tab slots. And because I've sized up my my wood properly, these will be 6mm, and my wood will be 6mm thick, so that should be a perfect fit. Let's go around and difference some more quickly. Okay. Almost done. And the last one. Okay, cool. Now I don't really need me little line in the middle there. So really, if we got this and we sort of had to fit it in there, should be quite a good fit, once we get the angle right, obviously. Okay, so you can see in real life it's going to fit in there nicely with 6mm. Okay, and this last part, obviously I use this to make my boards that are going to go across to the other one. So I need to duplicate this. So I've got 2 of them. Then I just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so I'm going to need 14 of these. So all I do is just duplicate them in a, just try to keep them in a nice straight line. Okay, and you'd obviously go through to 14 there. Alright, and say maybe you wanted to put a picture on these. What you do is select all of them, and you'd align them all nicely, or even in the center. And then you'd keep them all close together, right, with a nice even space between them. And then you can actually drag a picture over top of it, and so before it cuts these out, it'll engrave the picture over top. And that's sort of how you can get your picture looking like it's going to bend all the way around the top of your chest. Alright, so that's today's video. It's just how to create the tab